and happy Monday. It's actually the end of the day, which is why I'm looking a little disheveled, but happy Monday. I could not be bothered to start filming this morning because I was just so tired. I actually went to bed at a decent hour, but I don't know. I just didn't want to wake up this morning, and here we are. We got through the day. Today was actually, it was an okay day. It wasn't great. It wasn't as good as Friday, but here we are. This morning I tried to have a conversation with the students about what happened at the Capitol last week. I got inspired by a lot of educators on Instagram and YouTube that were talking to their students about it, and I just thought it was super important for me to allow a safe space for my students to talk about it as well. Some of the students had some things to say, but for the most part, nobody really participated in the conversation, which was kind of disappointing. But I opened the floor. I let them know that I have my box that they can add notes to. I have this box that just has little sheets of paper with it that say what I'd like you to know, and they can always write a note to me in there, or I told them they can pull me aside as well if they wanted to do that, just to have a conversation, because I know that it's just such a big thing in history and it's important for us to talk about it no matter which side you're on. I just think it's really important for students to be able to have a safe space for that conversation. This class isn't always super great about participating, which is such a bummer and such an antithesis to my student teaching experience. But I'm hoping, maybe it's just Monday and they just didn't really have anything to say because they were tired, but I don't know. So today we actually did curriculum for everything. For SEL, I had that conversation with them, or tried to have that conversation with them. We did watch CNN 10 and last week's vocabulary. I just wanted the students to have a little bit more of the background for what we were talking about, and about half the class had no idea that it even happened. So for me, it was important that, I informed them about it. It's part of history, and I remember whenever I was in 6th grade, I was about their age, and September 11th happened, and I did have some people that did talk to me about it, so I just thought that I would open the floor with that for SEL. And then after SEL, we had reading. They just did this editing book. Where is it? So for this editing book, they have just a different passage for every day of the week, and they just go through and they use editing marks in order to edit the piece. And I go ahead and I let them know how many mistakes they're looking for, but I don't tell them exactly what they're looking for. Over here it says watch for commas and names of places, or for this one it says commas, but that's not the only thing that they're looking for. I mean, right here it's odd jobs, and that's just the spelling error. And so we did one of these today. The students were pretty good with it overall. There were a couple that didn't catch a tricky spelling error and things like that, but we are going to also do this tomorrow, and this is for reading. For math, they actually have a test tomorrow, and so we did a review. I actually went home and I made a review. This was something that we did whenever I was student teaching. My host teacher would just make a PowerPoint presentation, and it would have questions, and the students would answer them on their own, and then she would post the answers around the room, and then the students would go and find the answers on their own. And then I also decided to go over it as a class because there were some students that got things wrong and they weren't sure why, and so I just went over the answers with them as well so that they can see where they made those mistakes. For writing, the students were really excited because they got to work with a partner, and they also got to use iPads today. And so they are using a site called Pebble Go, and on Pebble Go they could choose any topic that they want. There are 4 different types of writing that are nonfiction writing that they've learned, and one is problem solution that I taught them last week. They've also done how to, just a report, and a biography. And so most of the students chose animals, which was kind of surprising to me, but whatever. And then social studies was super cut and dry. It was just basically reading a passage, and then we watched a little short video, and then we started the Liberty Kids videos. But something that one of the other 5th grade teachers does that I decided to do is called Catch Me If You Can. And so basically I start reading the passage and I stop wherever I want to. I stopped in the middle of a sentence in like the 2nd or 3rd paragraph, and I just said, catch me if you can. I pulled a stick, and someone just went by.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
I'm right by the teacher's lounge, so I always feel like people can hear me. So we did Catch Me If You Can, and yeah, so I just stopped in the middle of the passage. I pull a stick, and then whatever number I call, that student has to start wherever I stopped. If they're able to start right where I stop, then they get a point. But if they get lost and they have no idea where I stopped, then I get a point. And since they won, they got 5 points and I think I got 1, then I gave them some free time at the end of the day, which I was planning on doing that anyway because I didn't plan anything for the end of the day, but they didn't know that. So I did have some behavior issues today. I did have to send one student to the office, which was super frustrating. And then I had 2 students that were just super rowdy and kept on getting out of their seats. One student was like literally screaming whenever he got excited or wanted to get attention, or I don't know what was happening, but it was kind of frustrating, but I don't know. So I am actually trying to get out of here at a decent time. It's almost 4, and my fiance is going to the gym, which means that he's not going home and checking on the dogs, which means that I need to do that. So my goal is we have these little hall passes. So we're using these as hall passes since we can't, reuse anything. So when the students go to the bathroom or go anywhere, then I would give them one of these and then they would just throw it away. And so one of the other 5th grade teachers, what she does is she writes their numbers on here so the students can go. What she does is the students get 2 of these a day, so she writes their number on 2 of these a day, and then whenever they use one, they just take it, go to the bathroom, and then they throw it out. So they only get 2 a day. So I think I'm going to do that. I do have my slides and everything done for tomorrow, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and write these and go ahead and set that up on my door. So it's about 4:15 and I'm out of the building, so that's great. I'm about to head home. There's nothing really that I need to get done at school. There are other things that I want to get done just to prep for the week, but all of that stuff I can do at home. I feel bad. I feel like I'm just getting through it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, like I feel horrible because it's easy for me to just get so focused on all of the negative things that are happening. And I know that there are some positives and all that stuff, but I just get so worn down by the negatives and I just keep on questioning, like, am I good at this? Is this something that I can deal with for the rest of my life? Like, I don't know. And I know that I'm only 4 days in and it's gonna get better and all that, but I don't know. My anxiety is just telling me that I'm not good at this and I'll never be good at this. So I don't know. I'm struggling, but it's Monday and it's only day 4. So we're gonna get through this. Okay, I gotta go. The sun is not flattering right now. See you tomorrow. Happy Tuesday. I am so cold. It is so cold outside. I'm very tired. Actually went to a friend's house last night and we played Just Dance and just chatted, and I really needed it. I just needed something to take my mind off of school for a little bit, but I think today is going to be a great day. I spoke with one of my teacher friends. Her name is Christina. We actually met through blogging like years ago. She lives in Tennessee and she is a second year teacher. She teaches high school, and she was talking to me about all things related to teaching. We've been chatting like since my first day of school and just talking about how I'm struggling and all these things. And so yesterday she told me something that I am really just taking to heart, and she said to protect the learner, and that is something that I'm definitely going to try to do today. And instead of just like stopping my class in order to pay attention to the students who are creating troubles and things like that, I'm going to focus on the students who are wanting to learn and being good, and I'm going to focus on like positive reinforcement and all those things. Trying to go in with that mindset today, so we'll see how it goes. So it's after school now, and I had a huge breakdown today. It was actually really embarrassing. It happened in front of my team. I just had a student this morning who was refusing to do work, and it's one that I've had a problem with from day one, and I just could not take it anymore. It was one of those cries where you can't breathe, and when you're trying to talk and you're trying to explain things, and it's like... I'm happy it happened because I had an amazing talk with my team, and for me, I just feel like I keep doubting myself as an educator. I keep doubting that I can do this and that I can, be a good teacher. But they were like, no, it's not you. It's not your ability to teach. It has everything to do with the students, and they're just pushing my boundaries to see what they can get away with. And it's really frustrating because I just want to be a good teacher. And I feel like I'm spending so much time like concentrating on the kids that aren't doing well. And I mentioned that this morning, and I did do better after I had that conversation, my breakdown with my team. His former teacher had a conversation with him, and he was amazing the rest of the day, which was great. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. My thing is that I love these kids, like genuinely, I love them. I feel like there are some that I'm like having trouble like creating connections with, and again, it's only day 5, so I have time, and it's hard because it is the middle of the year. They had another classroom, they had another teacher, they had an established routine, and they had all of these things that happened already in the beginning of their 5th grade year, and so I feel like I'm just coming and shaking things up, and I know that I need to be patient, but it's so hard whenever I just feel like every day I'm like on a battlefield. It's just tough, and I want it to get better, and I needed that cry today. I also cried last night. I went home and I talked to my fiance, and I cried last night a little bit, but today's cry was horrible. It was so bad. I just feel like I'm in over my head, and I know that becoming a good teacher takes time, and I know that there's so much that I need to learn and so many strategies that I'm going to be able to take with me as I continue to grow as an educator. But these tests, man, it's just such a struggle, but we're gonna get through it. I feel like I am making better connections with the students in general. I have a lot of students that just want to talk to me about stuff, and they just joke with me about things, and it's a lot of fun. They always want me to join in on their games and things like that, and I actually gave a whole class incentive today because they did a really good job being attentive during social studies. They've been watching this show on Netflix called Creeped Out, and they were bummed because lunch was over and they had to stop. So I was like, if y'all do an amazing job during social studies, then we can watch the rest of this episode, which I think there was like 7 or 8 minutes left. But let me flip you around and show you my slides for today. This was today's Good morning slide. I haven't really been giving the students anything to do in the morning because they've had some work from last week that they needed to catch up on. And then since they had their test today, I just wanted them to take some time to study. And so I put a little reminder, Math CSA today. Most of them just silent read, which was great. I think a lot of them love to read, which is wonderful. So for SEL, we just watched CNN 10. Whenever we watched CNN 10 the other day to have our conversation about the attacks on the Capitol, the students really liked it. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and keep doing that and just allow them 10 minutes in the morning where we can catch up on the news. And I think it's important for them, but it's also important for me to, stay current. For specials, they have been just crazy. So they are separate during specials, and we call specials encore. I decided that I wanted to just go over the expectations for encore for whenever we're coming back to the classroom. So a lot of them just like to come back to the classroom, just run into the classroom. They can't do that because then my class is split in half. So I told them that whenever they leave their encore class, they need to wait for me in the hall and do not come back to class, and for us to wait for both classes to be done so that we can all come back together. And then taps and buckles in the hall because people are learning. Taps is total and perfect silence, and buckles is just like buckling up your hands. We worked on their editing book again today, and then they took their math test. All of them finished today, and I graded them. For writing, they were doing the same thing that they did yesterday. For social studies today, we did the same thing that we did yesterday. We read a chapter in the book. We're starting a chapter about the American Revolution, and so I did the Catch Me If You Can thing again today, and they were wonderful during it. And then we also watched about half an episode of Liberty Kids. We did the other half yesterday, so we watched the other half today. And then we didn't get to Glow and Grow today, but the students have been actually loving Glow and Grow, which is really lovely. I love that they love it so much. I really want them to be self-aware. I want them to just take responsibility for their actions and their words and their feelings and things, and I want them to know what areas that they should celebrate and what areas that aren't perfect and that they need to keep working on. So I love that so many of the students are into it, and I think one reason is because they get to use the microphone. My microphone isn't great. It's old. It's from Walmart. It was like $10 or $15, so I do want to upgrade and get something from Amazon. I've seen a lot of teachers have these really cute ones from Amazon, so I might look into that, but it's like $30, so not a super big priority, but I love that the students are so into Glow and Grow at the end of the day. So I am just going to do some organizational things in the classroom. I just need to pick some things up off the floor and just get things looking back to where I want them, and then I am headed out. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Wednesday, halfway there, y'all. So I just got home and I had to share this because I'm just so touched. I just got a package and I was like, I'm not expecting anything. This is weird. And somebody sent me books for my classroom library. So it is 3 books, Charlotte's Web, Stuart Little, and The Trumpet of the Swan. And this is the note that came with it. Great books are such an important part of a great education. My gift to you are some books to build your classroom library. You've got this, from a fellow night owl. A stranger sent me books. And if you didn't know, I graduated from Western Governors University and our mascot is Night Owl. So I'm just so touched by that, and what an ending to the day. I feel like today has turned around a little bit. Good morning, happy Wednesday. I just really did not feel like getting out of bed today. I'm so tired, and I'm trying to just stay positive and hope that today is better than the last 2 days have been. How do I look? I finally got a teacher chair. I'm so excited. I feel so official, and it is so much more comfortable than sitting in the little student chair. So I had an amazing day. I can't believe I just said that. I'm so happy. I had an incredible day. It was so good. And there were incidents, but I feel like I made a lot more connections with some students that I hadn't really connected with yet, and I love that. Like, there's this one girl I talked to about her press-on nails. There were these 2 girls that just wanted to practice division problems, and I'm like, heck yes, I can do that with you. I have like a group of kids that they have to wait a little bit longer to get picked up, and so at the end of the day, all of us play this game where you just say a letter and everybody goes back and forth in turn, and they have to say a word that starts with that letter. And so I played that game with them, and they're pretty good. I feel like I let them get away with some things though, because one of the words that I said was astonish, and then they said astonishing, and then someone said astonish. It's fine. I don't think I won either time, but I also just kind of like was losing my concentration because there were other things that I needed to do. So it was fun though. I'm glad that I was able to create some more connections with some students. I'm hoping it's just because like they're getting used to being in this room with me and getting used to being with each other too, because again, like these students, they were not part of the same class. It's 2 classes that were merged together, and so I am just hoping that as a whole that the behaviors start going down, because the students are getting used to being around each other and getting used to me and my expectations, and like the novelty of being in a new place with a new teacher is kind of wearing off. So I had a great day today. There was this one person, before lunch, she was writing a letter to the principal to ask to move back to her old class, and at first I was like, I'm kind of offended by that. And then I spoke to her former teacher, and they said that they wanted to go back to their class, and apparently the reason was because she doesn't like how the boys play sharks and minnows, and I thought that was so funny. I'm glad it had nothing to do with me or anything that was going on in the classroom necessarily. It was just a game at recess, so I thought that was funny. I know that I could definitely be a lot more strict with some classroom management things, but I think that some things exhaust me so much that I just want to give care to the things that are positive. I want to make sure that I'm doing a lot of positive reinforcement, and I definitely want to make sure that I am just continuing to create those connections. Today was a much easier day, and I think, again, it has to do with the novelty wearing off. I know that there are still some issues. Today was obviously not a perfect day. I still had some issues, but I think we're on the up and ups. Honestly, I know that it's all day by day and it'll change all the time, and I know that. So I'm just gonna take this win and be excited and come to school tomorrow feeling good. But I'm about to head out of here. Most of today looked a lot like yesterday, so I'm not gonna go through my slides or anything like that. I'm just gonna peace out, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. 3/5 of the way done with the week. We're doing it. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Oh my gosh, it's Thursday. Oof, 2 more days, y'all. So this morning I actually got to work a little bit later than usual, but it's still like 7:15 right now, so I'm still earlier than a lot of other people. But I decided that since today is actually my dog's 9th birthday, I want to put a picture of him in our Good Morning slideshow. My kids love my dogs. They think they're so cute, and they're always like, bring your dogs to school, so I think that they'll really like it. Happy birthday, Gunther. What a day, y'all. It was nuts today. First of all, I about took off my arm today. In my new teacher chair. attacked by my teacher chair. So I was just like this, and then I scoot up, and then it took like a huge chunk of my skin off. Anyway, so today was nutso, like it was crazy. And they're talking about a snow day tomorrow potentially, so I wouldn't hate that. I had 3 girls that were sitting at my back table, and we were doing like a review activity, and they started being like they just kept on like being loud, and I gave them like 3 warnings, and eventually I told them to just go back to their seats. 2 of them wrote me little notes in my box, and they said that they want to go to their other class for math, and one of them said like, I want you to be like this other teacher, can you work on being more like him? And I'm like, I'm trying not to take it personally. It just hurts my feelings. It sucks because I just, like, I'm trying my best, and it sucks because these were 2 girls that I really, really like, and I'm so happy that they're in my classroom, and it just sucks that, I don't know, it just sucks, like it just hurts my feelings a lot. But social studies was actually really fun today. We did this activity with M&Ms, and all of the people had a job. We had a king, we had 2 people who were members of parliament, and then we had 2 people who were tax collectors, and the money was the M&Ms, and so every person had a different job, and with their jobs they got paid a certain amount of money. And so the tax collectors, they just went around and took people's money based on what we were being taxed. At the beginning of the lesson, the students had to put like a piece of paper, one of their shoes, a marker, and like all sorts of things on their desk, and based on the things that they put on their desk is how much they got taxed. So if they put like a mechanical pencil on their desk, they got taxed more than if you just put a regular number 2 pencil, or if your shoe had laces, you got taxed more. If you had lined paper versus just regular plain paper, then you got taxed differently. So it was a lot of fun. And then people who couldn't pay their taxes, they had to go to jail. And then at the end, the king got all of the money. Well, he got most of the money, and then the parliament members got a good chunk of money, even though all 3 of them didn't do anything. And then the tax collectors just got like a little bitty piece of money. It was a really fun activity, but it got really rowdy, so I just had to quiet them down quite a few times. I thought today was still a pretty good day overall. I did have some behavior issues. I'm just feeling kind of sad now after reading those notes, and I'm trying not to let it get to me, but it is, but it is my dog's birthday, so I'm gonna go home and celebrate with my fiance, and I don't know what we're gonna do, but I just need to take my mind off of things and cross my fingers for a snow day. So hopefully I don't see you tomorrow. So it's the same day, and I'm at home in my cozy clothes that I'm going to be staying in for the next 72 hours because no school tomorrow. I'm so excited to sleep in. I also just think I need a mental health check-in. Next week is actually going to be a short week too. On Monday, I do have meetings, but the kids aren't going to be there because it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I'm really hoping that my weeks just continue to get better and better as time progresses on, and that the students just, get used to me and used to my style of teaching and the way I do things. Being a teacher to a new group of students who have already established routines and like coming in the middle of the year is hard. And then doing that in the middle of a pandemic, also hard. And sometimes I feel like I'm in over my head. But thank y'all so much for watching. I feel like my emotions were up and down this week, but I definitely want these vlogs to be honest and helpful. And I think once I start getting into curriculum a little bit more and get a handle on things, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about activities and things that I do, because then I'll just have my head wrapped around everything. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another vlog. Bye.